What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, DJLittleRock.com. Let me say that one more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me on the ones and twos, the digital wheels of steel at your next event. And if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Use the hashtag What Makes You Famous and find it everywhere. Time for a little What Makes You Smarter. Learn with me right here on the program. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for my birthday, Friday, January 31st, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, Senate prepares to vote on impeachment witnesses. Senators question House managers and President Trump's defense team for a second day on Thursday ahead of an expected Friday vote on whether the Senate will call witnesses in Trump's impeachment trial. Democrats are pressing for testimony from former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who reportedly has written in a draft of his forthcoming book that Trump told security aid from Ukraine until its leaders committed to investigating Democrats, essentially supporting the abuse of power allegation against Trump, with potential swing vote Senator Lamar Alexander, Republican of Tennessee, announcing he would vote against calling witnesses. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, appeared to have lined up enough votes to block new testimony, setting up a possible vote to acquit Trump as early as Friday. This is according to the Washington Post. Number 2, WHO declares coronavirus outbreak a global health emergency. The World Health Organization on Thursday declared that the coronavirus outbreak that started in the city of Wuhan in central China had become a global health emergency. Quote, our greatest concern is the potential for the virus to spread to countries with weaker health systems and which are ill-prepared to deal with it, end quote. WHO's Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus said in Geneva, more than 200 people have died from the flu-like virus, and more than 9,400 have been infected. So far, the, quote, vast majority of cases outside of China have a travel history to Wuhan or contact with someone with travel history to Wuhan, end quote, Tedros said. The U.S. issued its highest warning against travel to China after a tenfold increase in infections over 1 week. This is according to the South China Morning Post and the New York Times. Number 3, Trump warns Iowa crowd. They want to kill our cows. President Trump delivered multiple warnings to supporters who attended his rally Thursday in Des Moines, Iowa, including telling them that if they don't vote for him in November, quote, everything you have loved in your entire life will be gone, end quote. Trump spoke for 90 minutes, but told the crowd he could have made his address, quote, really short. All I have to do is say, hello, Iowa, you have no choice but to vote for me, end quote. Trump also brought up the Green New Deal, saying the proposal would, quote, crush our farms, destroy our wonderful cows. They want to kill our cows. You know why, right? You know why. Don't say it. They want to kill our cows. That means you're next. End quote. This is according to the Des Moines Register. Number 4, Trump to seek travel ban expansion. President Trump on Friday is expected to announce the expansion of his controversial travel ban restricting travel from several majority Muslim countries. The move had been expected Monday on the 3-year anniversary of Trump's original order, but it was delayed as the Trump administration focused on its response to China's coronavirus outbreak. Politico reported on Thursday citing two people familiar with the matter. A draft of the updated ban reportedly adds restrictions on travelers from six additional countries: Belarus, Myanmar, Eritrea, Kyrgyzstan, Nigeria, and Tanzania. The White House did not immediately comment on the matter. This is according to Politico. Number 5, House votes to limit Trump's authority to order military action in Iraq. The House on Thursday voted to curb President Trump's authority to order military operations in Iraq. The House repealed the 2002 Iraq War authorization in a mostly party line 236 to 166 vote. The Trump administration had used the authorization to justify Trump's order for the drone strike that killed top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. Quote, members of Congress continue to have serious, urgent concerns about the president's decision to engage in hostilities against Iran and about its lack of strategy moving forward, end quote. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, said before Thursday's vote. Pelosi said Trump had, quote, usurped, end quote, Congress's power to declare war. This is according to The Hill. Number Brexit Day arrives, launching UK transition out of EU. Britain officially leaves the European Union on Friday. The UK is scheduled to leave the 28-nation trading bloc at 11 p.m. local time, marking the first time a member nation has left. Prime Minister Boris Johnson is scheduled to deliver a televised address in which his office said he would call Brexit, quote, not an end, but a beginning, end quote. Britain voted in 2016 to leave the EU by a 52% to 48% margin, with England and Wales voting to leave and Scotland and Northern Ireland wanting to remain. The UK and the EU will continue to trade under the bloc's rules through an 11-month, quote, transition period, end quote, during which the two sides will negotiate new agreements on trade and security. The talks are scheduled to start in March. This is according to the Associated Press. Number 7, author who accused Trump of rape requests DNA sample. Lawyers for advice columnist Jean Carroll, who has accused President Trump of raping her in the 1990s, have requested a DNA sample from Trump. Carroll reportedly is seeking to determine whether Trump matches genetic material on a dress she was wearing when she says Trump raped her in a dressing room in Bergdorf Goodman, a Manhattan luxury department store. Carroll's lawyers want Trump to submit a sample by March 2nd for analysis. Quote, unidentified male DNA on the dress could prove that Donald Trump not only knows who I am, but also that he violently assaulted me in a dressing room at Bergdorf Goodman and then defamed me by lying about it and impugning my character, end quote, Carroll said. The White House and Trump's lawyer did not respond to the Associated Press's request for comment. Trump has long denied the allegation and accuses Carroll of fabricating the story to sell books. This is according to the Associated Press and the New York Times. Number 8, Trump administration announces Medicaid overhaul proposal. The Trump administration on Thursday announced a Medicaid overhaul that would let states cap their spending on health benefits for many poor adults. The decision would give states the option of curbing coverage for millions of Americans given access to the program through the Affordable Care Act, former President Barack Obama's health care reform law. Quote, government has a solemn responsibility to provide for the most vulnerable among us, end quote, said Seema Verma, the administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Quote, part and parcel of that responsibility is making sure the Medicaid program is sustainable, end quote. Democrats and consumer advocates said the move would jeopardize access to medical care for millions of people. This is according to the New York Times and NBC News. Number 9, Amazon's shares surge after strong earnings report. Amazon on Thursday reported holiday quarter results that far exceeded Wall Street's expectations, sending its stock soaring 13% higher in after-hours trading. The gains returned Amazon to the small club of companies with a market capitalization above $1 trillion. If the online retailer can hold on to the gains on Friday, it will see its biggest one-day jump since October of 2017. Amazon also reported more sign-ups for its Prime Loyalty Club, thanks partly to the expansion of its one-day shipping program, capping a 50% increase in Prime membership in 2 years. Amazon CEO and founder Jeff Bezos said Amazon now has more than 150 million paid Prime members. This is according to Reuters. Number 10, Trump administration proposes rollback on bird protections. The Trump administration on Thursday proposed a regulation that would erase punishments for companies that, quote, incidentally, end quote, kill birds while they work. Under the proposal, oil and gas companies wouldn't be punished if a spill killed birds. Construction crews that kill birds during work would be spared, as would farmers who spray pesticides and companies owning wind turbines that strike and kill birds. The rule change comes from a 2017 Interior Department opinion regarding the 1918 Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Previous administrations had interpreted the act as, quote, too broadly, end quote. The agency had argued, and it determined the act was only supposed to punish actions explicitly intended to kill birds. Conservation groups and some states previously sued the administration over the opinion. This is according to the New York Times. That's 10 things you need to know today for Friday, January 31st, my birthday, 2020. Stay tuned for more on What Makes You Smarter. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here. If you like what you hear, I encourage you to follow What Makes You Smarter on social media. Find it on Facebook at What Makes You Smarter, Instagram at What Makes You Smarter, Twitter at Smarter What, and YouTube. Username Keys Dan. Leave What Makes You Smarter podcast a review and subscribe. Listen to What Makes You Smarter podcast on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Podcast Addict. My personal favorite, learn with me on my podcast, What Makes You Smarter. And if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Call 501-470-6386 and leave a message to set up a time for What Makes You Famous. Support What Makes You Smarter podcast using the PayPal, paypal.me/Keys Dan. Email info@radiowhat.com. What Makes You Smarter is a production of Keys Dan Enterprises Incorporated at keysdan.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for